G'day folks, Alex McKellar here again. We're back at the Red Bull Ring, second time this week, this time for an actual official race. I'm calling this video You Play Like You Train, in difference to, or harping back to my old footy days where you trained with an intensity and the techniques and the patterns and styles that you wanted to play with when the time came for a game. I reference that because the last race I put up was a practice race, and it was all about trying different lines and attacking and defending with good drivers around you. And I was really pleased with how this race went because I got to put those things into practice in an official race. And a lot of that comes down to who you're racing with. So, wrong one. Oh my goodness, I'm going through all of them. There we go. This was the grid. The guy on pole, Leo, super fast guy. I've only recently sort of come to know of Leo through time trials in the main. I was doing time trials last season and I'd be going all right. I'd be first or second going through the week, use it as a bit of practice, and then come the weekend on Saturday or Sunday, this Leo fellow would rock up and just slaughter my time. Anyway, so I knew Leo from that, and I raced with him last week actually once, and I just saw how quick in person he was. He was unbelievably fast. Jeff Snovelli, someone who I haven't raced much, if at all, with, and again, another US driver that's really fast. So I'm going to call it Leo and Jeff, only in difference to the fact that I don't want to butcher Leo's name. Seems like a nice fellow. We chatted a bit after the race. The rest of the folks in the field, early on a week, they didn't really play much of a part in my race, so but certainly it seemed like people were enjoying their racing nonetheless. So let's grab the cockpit view for this one. I can find the cockpit view. There it is. And we'll chuck up the right overlays and let's get the show on the road because it was a pretty good show, pretty fun race. So of course 12 laps again around the Red Bull Ring. Starting third, I was closer to Leo than in time in quali than I was expecting actually, and you couldn't really split Jeff and I other than in hundreds and thousands, I think. Now my main goal here actually was to get the opportunity to measure myself against Leo up front, and the main goal there was to just hang on for the first part while the tyres are coming up and see if I could actually hang on for the whole race. There are some high quality drivers that can't keep up with Leo, so this is quite a draft heavy track when it comes down to it, and I'm hoping, or I was hoping, that I could use that to my advantage, if not just to stay in touch but maybe to try some stuff down the track. Stuff that we worked on in last night's race with Nagai-san. So again, what I noticed early on was that the two in front of me were very wary of that curb that we talked about last time, that can really unseat or unsettle the back of the car in particular. And they avoided it like the plague early on. Now I think that Leo and Jeff race together perhaps a bit. There's a US Skippy League that happens on a weekend or Sunday, I think it is, at a time that I can't race because of the time differences. I'm usually at work. So I think they've raced together a fair bit. And I think Jeff perhaps thought, much like I did, that Leo's a fair old challenge. I don't know. I've not talked to Jeff, so I don't know. But interestingly, we're only on lap 2, and oh, that's right. Leo picked up a slowdown through the last corner. You might have spotted how wide he was through the last corner, and he decided to serve it on this. On that straight in between turn 1 and 2. I actually came on the radio and tongue-in-cheek at this point I've said, come on Jeff, this is our chance. It was probably our only chance, but we never cracked the range of the draft, unfortunately, as you can see, and quite frankly, Leo probably had the pace, and Jeff unfortunately missed an apex or two along the way. He missed the apex at 2 and then again at 3 there. But in all honesty, I don't think it mattered. I think Leo would have had the pace. And behind him, Stewart in P4 there. He was about half a second, 7/10 off Jeff and my time in quali. So once we'd sort of broken the back of it, I was pretty comfortable that certainly with Leo on front, we were going to get away. After the first couple of laps at least anyway, it became evident that there was a pace disparity there. This was about a 2200 strength of field, which is what you sort of get on a weekday afternoon, which is when this was. I still got a bit of Christmas leave up my sleeve, so I chose to race in this time slot. I imagine my surprise when the likes of Leo and Jeff rock up to I think it was about a 3 o'clock in the afternoon race, which is pretty prime time for them. You can see Jeff's pushing pretty hard, I should say. Now I move out to the left to make sure he knows I'm not a threat. But by this stage, as you can see, Leo's well and truly in touch. And I was on a fact-finding mission at this point about Leo and Jeff. The one race I've done with Leo before, he was off in the distance and I never got a chance to actually race with him. So I don't know how he races. I don't remember ever having raced with Jeff either. And I think, judging by some of the body language of the cars that you'll see later on in the race, I think they were feeling the same about me, just feeling me out in terms of could they trust me side by side, that sort of thing. So that, and I talk about it frequently, the non-verbal conversation that goes on. That's a two-way street, particularly with folk that are smart about how they race, experienced, fast, and all the rest of it. It's that balancing act between risk and reward with new drivers. You've got to trust them at some point, but you've also got to earn that trust, and you can only do that through time on track together. Now Leo makes his first move and it's up the inside here in the final sector. Legitimate third of 3 passing opportunities, probably the most risky, but you'll notice there I facilitated that pass. You know, in hindsight, maybe I disrupt his race a bit more, keeps him in touch. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, then I saw him straight away, side by side, up the inside at turn 1. And again, Jeff facilitated that pass, but he's come back at him quite strongly there. Got a better drive out of the corner. That compromised inner line through turn 1 really does cost you in the run up to turn 2, which is in my books the primary passing opportunity at this circuit. Heaviest threshold braking down into first gear. And I was looking to see if I couldn't go up the inside, sort of cut back underneath, but I was too narrow on entry, and Jeff, as you can see, got a bit of wheel spin on exit and that sort of compromise. But I was practicing, I was trying to do some of the things that we tried in the race with Nagai's son last night, and really seeing what I could make of it. So it was somewhat of a rehearsal. There wasn't much risk in it because I wasn't fully committed to it, but also Leo was well and truly offline and wasn't going to skip away either. So again, you see these guys, they don't kiss that curb at all. I don't know if you call it braver or sillier. I don't mind touching it a little bit, but very cautious, particularly in the early stages, because the rear of the car will step out there and you can find yourself spinning nose first off onto the inside of the circuit. Now all the while here, I'm pretty relatively passive. I'm trying to search out little chinks if I can. First and foremost, I'm trying to hang on because I know if Leo gets half a sniff, he's gone. And if I make a big enough or a series of small mistakes that combine, he'll take Jeff with him if I lose the draft. So I've got to be very careful and calculating in terms of the any sort of attacking moves that I make here. I'm more looking to take advantage of mistakes more than anything. But you can see Jeff here, he's looking to disrupt and move to the front. Confident move there. A lot of space given too, which really compromises his entrance. And again, I tried again to get underneath, even if I could get underneath one of them, but you could see the smoke coming off Jeff's wheels. It's not uncommon to get wheel spin through the elevation change there of turn 2. And again, I'm lifting here. Come back into line, Jeff. Let's have another look. And again, I'm fact finding here more than anything. Seeing what is and isn't possible. And also seeing how the other two race together and what opportunities might present later in the race. In through turn 4. Down to turn 5. And the poor run I got out of turn 3, I was carrying more mid-corner speed, which I'm used to doing because I use second gear through turn 3, and it sort of cost me a bit of the gap. It cost me a bit of a run on exit because I closed up and had to brake a little bit mid-corner. But you can see the draft kept me in tow, which I was very grateful for. And it's not unique to this circuit, but the draft in the skips these days is not what it used to be. It's no longer draft to pass, really. It's draft to get your side on with someone. You've really, in this category, got to earn your passes. The draft might get you in a position to pass, but it's not just a straight leapfrog anymore, particularly when the competition's tight. Showing the nose here, not really pushing here. Just trying to run clean lines, which I didn't manage to do there. I'm still quite nervous about Leo running away and potentially taking Jeff with him. Jeff has a look up the inside. I'm trying to take advantage. You can see I get a better-ish run. They've got side draft here, which is an advantage for them, but I was at this point in the race, we're coming up, we'll cross the line, we'll be halfway through, as I'm starting to really try and think about how I get through. I have a look up the inside, but don't really get the drive, and I back out of it and let him come across through here. Because again, I'm worried about Leo getting away, but I'm trying these little looks here and there just to see what I can make of opportunities to have more assertive moves later in the race. But I'm starting at this point, as we are about to commence the second half of the race, to think there's a bit of a almost not an intentional blockade, but it's feeling like a pretty solid wall in front of me, and that opportunities are going to be hard to find. And even at this stage of the race, I'm thinking, well, if something presents, I'm really going to have to act decisively and roll the dice a bit of the risk versus reward scale, and because I can't win it from third place, I have to be in at least second place. So once again, Jeff, this time Leo takes a defensive line and almost backs off enough to come back into line, and I just follow him through there. But it's, again, if it was two of them, interestingly, I reckon Leo just backs off and lets Jeff go through and saves the battle for the last lap of the race. But because there's three of us, you know, maybe he's thinking about this 2x2 again. I'll try to come underneath Jeff here, but I didn't commit strongly to it, and I could have got on the gas way earlier there, but again, if there's two cars there, they're probably playing a lot nicer. Because there's three, it's just that little bit of doubt that if they put on a move or they lift to let someone back in, maybe the third car takes advantage of that and they lose that position. And as you can see, it's not easy without taking a lot of risk to move forward, even in a 3-car pack. So you can imagine, you know, later in the week when everyone's up to speed and the strength of fields are getting higher, like on the weekend, there'll be 6-7 car packs here. It's not unusual to see. So you know, this sort of practice, even in the small packs, invaluable. Into lap 7 already. They're ticking by. This race felt like it went really, really quickly. So we've been through that early stage of the race. I always think of the race in 3 stages. Early stage of the race can be pretty frantic as you try and get off the line and get away safely. It was pretty sedate in this one, all things considered, which was good. You're in that middle phase of the race where you're just trying to build a gap or work together or whatever. And then you come, into that 3rd stage as I actually make a move here. And look at this, Jeff facilitates it in that 3rd stage of the race where you know, the race is won and lost. Now, Jeff facilitated that, and I was thinking there, perhaps that he gave that up because he hadn't done a lot of racing with me, and he was thinking about, you know, what it looked like side by side. Similarly here, Leo essentially gives up the corner to a degree, but he gets a much better drive out because of my compromised entry, and he's straight back into the battle here into turn 4, which was interesting. Now this was really tight. I wasn't sure if I was clear from both of them here, so I sort of left enough room on the inside, but Jeff pulled back in. I thought Jeff may have tried to follow him through there, but I was trying now to think of, I really want to be in 2nd place and start working on Leo to see what I could do. But then Jeff boxed me in here and I let him through. So after going from 3rd to 2nd to 1st in the first half of the lap, bang, straight back into 3rd, staring at that blockade in front of me. But yeah, we're now entering that 3rd stage of the race where it's won and lost, and the intensity starts to lift a bit more. And all the while I'm still mindful that if Jeff and I stuff around too much, Leo's just gone, and in 2 laps he'll pull a 2nd on us. No problems if we lose the draft. Thankfully though, it didn't get out to more than sort of 4 or 5 tenths through that final sector, and we're still well and truly in it. So I'm braking quite early there, being quite conservative when there's no move on. Great Skippy driver, Ian Bevan, ex-Skippy driver these days, said to me once that for every car in front of you in a pack, you should add an extra car length in the braking zone, as in brake a car length earlier. I don't know if I'd agree with a full car length, as I made quite a big mistake there, and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm out of it. Thankfully that was not the case, but Ed used to say that you leave a full car length for every car in front of you in a braking zone in a pack. I don't know if I would think about a full car length, but I'd certainly agree maybe half to 3/4 of a car length is a healthy margin. You can see that's why I was braking quite early into turn 2 there. So as I tried to recover here, I'm thinking 3 laps to go when we cross the line. Need to start thinking about what we're going to do. So I've done my fact finding. They were pretty strong throughout, and unless I got more aggressive on corner exits in particular to get on the gas quicker, you know, I'd have to settle for 3rd, as in draft, even with the mistake, I've set the fastest lap that time round. So my focus this week has been on exits through particularly turn 1, turn 2 and turn 3, and track usage through the final sector as well. And they were the things in my mind as we came down into the final stages of this one. At this stage I don't even feel like I'm matching them on exits, so it's going to make overtaking quite difficult. And again, Jeff has a look up the inside. Leo leaves good room. I should have committed to the drive and gone around the outside. I was thinking go around the outside on exit, but I just didn't commit to it, even at this late stage. You Again, you see the guy still not touching the apex curbing there at turn 4. Very interesting. At 5, no problems. I find you just got to have the soft hands there and manage the extra weight on the outside tyres. It gives you that bit of oversteer. If you can manage that, I think it's quicker. But I'm not about to tell Leo how to drive, let me tell you. This is where we've closed up on Jeff. I don't want to make the move at 1. I want to make the move at 3. That's right, at 2. So I actually let him, give him a bit of space with a view to braking a bit later this time and getting a good run out. He kissed the curb there and I got a great run out by comparison. Stuck in the draft, and then I'm just thinking, come on Leo, come over, give me the draft. But I've still got side draft on the pink mobile next to me of Jeff. And surprisingly, Jeff backs off. I was stunned that he backed off and didn't contest the corner, but I can only assume he was worried about Leo getting away, even with, you know, a lap and a half to go. Leo's that quick, at least in my books. So that was job 1 done. That's exactly what I played out and visualised in my mind going into turn 1. So that was good. Next I'm thinking, alright, how do I get close enough in this last lap and a half, and where do I want to make the move? The key passing zones are 1, least enticing, 2, very enticing, 3, second most enticing, and finally through the final sector where it's risky but rewarding if you get it right, and it's your last chance as well. So at this point we're really setting up for the final lap. And I'm looking forward to it as well, racing with these guys who've raced smart throughout. So trying to get a good run out of the final corner. I don't want to be too close to Leo here and compromise my entry into 1, but I need to be managing the distance with Jeff as well. So don't be too close so you can brake where you normally brake. Get a good exit. Jeff got a better exit than me this time, or at least a better run through the corner, and he's closer to me than I am to Leo. However, the draft from Leo is keeping me safe to a degree, and Leo even picked up a bit of draft from a lap car who gets out of the way, which really, both those things help me stay in touch. Again, looking for my exit. I didn't get the run I wanted to have the attacking move at 2. Next opportunity's down here at 3. Now it's going to be risky, but it's the time to throw caution to the wind. I'm far enough upside to make that a legit move. Down to first gear, which is not what I normally do there. Leave enough room on the outside, but Leo's got better drive through a better line on exit. I've got to be watching for Jeff coming through as well. He's very close. I've got to slot in behind, and then my final hope is to defend here, make sure Jeff doesn't come up in between 4 and 5, which he doesn't, and then attack through the final sector. That's my only option left. Leo's half committing to inside, half outside. I show the nose on the inside and flick to the outside. He doesn't cover. So now we've got the inside through the final couple of corners. I shift down to 3rd, the only time in the race. Leave it in 3rd. Bang. Hit that apex, last corner. Leave enough room on the outside. Cover Jeff on the inside. Bang. Did not get there. Finish second. Finish second. But what a race. How much fun was that? That was brilliant, in all honesty. A great deal of fun. And, you know, my first experience racing with Leo and Jeff. And brilliant. Really enjoyed it. I think the difference, if I try and have a look at the telemetry, it was 11 1,000ths on the line. The three of us were covered by less than a tenth at the end. How about that? Unbelievable. How about that? So let's just grab a look at the results. Will it give me the results this time? Surely. No. Replays again don't give me the results. But I might, while I'm here, look at that last lap or so again. I wonder if chopper view might be give us the best look. We can find it. There we go. Oh, that's pretty high, isn't it? Let's see what it does. No, I don't like that. Let's go rear chase. Let's go chase. So, as we know, Jeff he got a good run. He probably got a better run, but the draft kept me in it here. And Jeff stayed in fourth gear. I was surprised he didn't grab fifth, but he must have been saving it. And I just narrowed up my line a little bit to make sure he wasn't interested, and then opened it up so that I got the proper line through the corner. My focus is on Leo in front though, in all honesty at this point, and Jeff didn't have the run. So I've come up the inside here, made it very clear he's happy with the outside line. Come off the corner, he opened up a bit. You see I left plenty of room on the outside, but obviously Leo's preferred line was a bit tighter, but he opened up to make allowance for me. That's smart. Saved us both an incident on that point. I should say there was not a 0x between any of us in this race, although Leo did walk away with 10 incident points from off tracks. He was trying pretty hard. And here's this vital third and final sector and determining the race. So again, quick move to the outside late. See Jeff tucked up behind Leo as well. I went to the inside as much to hold off Jeff as not, because if I went the outside, Jeff would go up my inside and it would have cost me that position, I figure. And he looked there. Look how close that is. I'm pleased that I've tracked out as much as I can with leaving a car width on the outside of what is the natural racing line. You can put your outside tyres on the red there on the outside without picking up a 1X, but you can't do it by much without picking up a slowdown. That's pretty tight there and quality stuff. I moved over straight away to give that room to come back on track, but also a little bit to cover off Jeff. Jeff pulls in behind me to get the draft, and Leo's got a better drive and a bit of side draft. And then on the line, I wonder if I can turn that around. Hang on. On the line, it's pretty damn close. Look at that. That's what less than a tenth looks like. That's what 11 1,000ths looks like. Why don't I go forward? Oh, maybe I'm not on the right thing. Oh, I've lost my controls. Anyway, that's what 11 1,000ths looks like in a finish. So there you go. That was a good one. In fact, that was a really good one. And the thing that I liked about this one is we were able to put into practice the stuff that we did with Nagai-san the night before. It really paid dividends. That race practice, those runs on the board, so to speak, when it comes to putting the yards in and being prepared for a race. And it served me well, racing with two guys that I've not raced toe-to-toe with. And as you can see, it was... it worked out brilliantly and it was a very enjoyable race. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. But make sure, if you did, hit the like and the thumbs up and the subscribe to the channel. It really does help. Or just going back to the start of the race there with my old overlays there. Anyway, hit the likes, the thumbs up, subscribe on the YouTube. That really does help us. We're about to hit a new milestone, I think, in subscribers, which is awesome. Otherwise though, make sure you come back on Sunday night to Top Split TV on Twitch, which is where you'll find us. doing the at 9:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, which is GMT plus 11 at the moment, where we do the biggest strength of field skibby race live broadcast on a Sunday night each and every week. Otherwise, the Top Split on YouTube, of course, is where you'll find us, and all our race replays for the Sunday night lights as well. But folks, thank you for joining us. If you've persevered this long, I'm Alex McKellar, and until next time, ciao for now.